Brad Pitt stayed silent for 8 long years, choosing not to defend himself or correct the stories written about him. While the world argued, judged, and speculated, he retreated completely, living in the shadows of a family collapse that reshaped every part of his life. But in 2025, after years of legal battles, heartbreak, and the $500 million war over Chateau Miraval, Brad finally stepped forward and shared the truth from his own perspective. And what came out wasn't anger, but the quiet voice of a man who had endured the most painful chapter of his life and survived it. His story began long before the conflict. Back in 2003, on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, when he and Angelina Jolie met, Brad was still married to Jennifer Aniston, and Angelina had recently ended her marriage to Billy Bob Thornton. Their chemistry was undeniable, and the media turned it into a global spectacle. When Brad and Jennifer divorced in 2005, tabloids exploded with theories, and when Brad was seen with Angelina and her son Maddox in Kenya, the world constructed a story none of them could control. Still, Brad and Angelina built a family that fascinated millions. They adopted Maddox, Zahara, and Pax before welcoming Shiloh, and later the twins, Knox and Vivian. To the outside world, they were Hollywood's perfect global family. But the reality behind closed doors was far more fragile. In 2008, they bought Chateau Miraval for $28 million and created both a home and a thriving wine business. In 2014, they were married there in a quiet ceremony. For a moment, it seemed like peace had finally found them. But only 2 years later, everything fell apart. Angelina filed for divorce in September 2016. What followed became one of Hollywood's most painful public breakups, and the breaking point came during a private plane flight that same month. Allegations surfaced of drinking, an argument, and a confrontation involving their son, Maddox. Details remain disputed, but the accusations triggered investigations by the FBI and Child Services. Brad was cleared of criminal wrongdoing, yet the damage to his reputation and family was already done. A temporary court order gave Angelina primary custody, while Brad's visits were supervised. The custody fight stretched into years, and the emotional strain weighed heavily on the children. Maddox distanced himself first, later making statements against Brad in court. Pax posted harsh words online. Shiloh removed Pitt from her name in 2024. Vivian began using Jolie publicly, and even Knox stayed away from the spotlight. Brad stayed silent through all of it, requesting therapy sessions that rarely continued. The family he once held together had splintered beyond repair. The emotional war was followed by a financial one. The dispute over Miraval grew into a tangled international legal battle involving accusations, corporate law, and contested documents. Angelina sold her stake to Russian billionaire Yuri Shefler without Brad's approval, and Brad's team accused her of undermining the business. She argued he tried to silence her with an NDA. By 2024, the case had turned into one of Hollywood's most bitter property wars. Then, in May 2025, Brad broke his silence. In a rare interview, he spoke calmly about the divorce, the years of conflict, and the painful distance from his children. He said simply that silence had felt like the only way to avoid making things worse. He admitted he had been sober since 2016 and now lived a quiet life focused on sculpting, reading, and healing. He didn't blame anyone. He didn't debate the past. He just said, "I'm here if they need their father." Today, Brad continues working through Plan B and is set to return in a major Formula One film. He spends most of his time at his Santa Barbara estate and is reportedly engaged to jewelry designer Ines de Ramon. Meanwhile, Angelina focuses on her children and global projects. The divide within the family remains painful on both sides. Brad finally spoke, but the wounds may take far longer to heal. If you found this story powerful, make sure you like the video, Subscribe to Hollywood Bulletin and turn on the notification bell so you never miss these emotional Hollywood journeys.